Hi Virgo, this is going to be your reading for the month of June going into July. This is for love and relationships. So this is it towards your sun, moon, rising, Venus, and or Mars placements. So if you're a Virgo in any of those placements, this is for you. These are intended to be general love messages. So please only take what applies and leave the rest. Everything might not apply and every scenario might not be the same. I am just expressing it the way that it comes to me. Doesn't have to be your situation. Also, roles can be reversed. So the scenario can be acted out within you. You can be acting out the scenario, or someone else around you can be acting out the scenario. This can also play out in other areas of your life within friends, family, and or co-workers. Okay, so just keep in mind of that. So basically what I have for you, Virgo, is that a lot of you are in this space where you feel as though the issues that you are dealing with in your relationships could be easily fixed. I feel as though that you feel or you're aiming to find middle ground in a relationship, but it's not working out in the way that you want it to. The song X Factor by Lauryn Hill was playing to me as I was doing your reading. The one where she was like, it can all be so simple, but you rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle and we both end up with scars. So that's kind of like the theme of this reading for me. You're trying to force a relationship to mesh or work, but the belief systems between you and this other person are so different to the point where it's kind of hard to do, and you're just like, it could be simple. You're the one that's being opposed. You feel like you are being opposed, maybe even purposely, or like they're just purposely fighting against you, and you feel like it can just be easily fixed if you could just come to terms, or maybe even you just feel like they should just agree to you because you may feel like you're right in the situation. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, but this is just the point of view. For some of you, though, if it's not about a relationship, I do see that some of you are actually trying to make a choice that is very risky. So even though this is intended for love and relationships, like I said, this can go for work as well. I feel like a lot of you are getting ready to take a risk. And to you, like to everybody else, it might be a risk. But to you, you're like, oh, no, it's nothing. I don't know why I was getting that, but it's pointing out something that is risky but dangerous, and you're not really taking it that seriously. But let's go back to love and relationships. So I'm getting where there's a lot of conflict between you and your person if you're in a relationship or loosely dealing with someone, and you just want there to be an agreement between you two, or you just want things to work, or you just want things to come together for you two, but it's like the other person is resisting you or resisting that. At least that's how you feel. And I feel like you're trying to find ways to implement this change. Like you want the relationships to change towards a different direction. And I feel like you're trying to find ways to implement this change, but you feel stuck because you don't know how to initiate it, or you don't know what to say to get it to go in the direction you feel like it needs to go. A lot of you feel like you're out of options. A lot of you feel like, you're kind of getting to this point where you're hitting this brick wall or this point in your life where it's just like you're getting too much resistance, so you're kind of fed up. Leo had a similar reading. You could be dealing with a Leo. I'm also seeing Aquarius, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn is here, as well as Aries and Sagittarius. So I definitely feel like you're feeling like this person is just being stubborn. You're getting a lot of resistance, and you're getting to the point where you're ready to just cut ties. I'm also getting something dealing with kids. Maybe you have kids or this other person has kids. If it's not kids, I just get that there's a lot of energy between you and this person where it's hard for you both to find common ground because you both are just in this position or in this mentality that you both want different things. You expect different things. I feel like in some aspects y'all want the same thing, but in others y'all want different things. So it's getting to the point where a lot of you are really analyzing this relationship and even are just trying to decide whether you want to separate from this person or not, because I feel like a lot of you are losing patience because you don't feel like you're getting anything you put out back from this relationship. So a lot of you are trying to decide whether you should move on or not. A lot of you are feeling like you have to start over, but some of you are okay with starting over. I feel like a lot of you feel like you've done it before, you can do it again. It's like that type of energy. Like I've done it before, I can do it again. I can start over. Like I said, I'm getting a lot of work energy as well with this. Some of you might be trying to decide whether or not you want to separate from a job, separate from a work partnership or something like that, where you're feeling like the pay isn't worth the work or something like that, where you're feeling like you're losing patience with your job because it's not paying enough, or you're doing a lot and you don't really see a return. It could be a high energy job too, where you're like constantly doing on the go, doing something. It's not a laid back job as well. You could even be dealing with kids at this job, or this job is affecting the life you have with your kids. Maybe by the time you get home, you don't have any energy for your kids or for your relationship. So a lot of you are trying to decide whether you want to take this risk to separate from your job. Others of you, as far as relationship, is just you are thinking about whether you want to take this risk to separate from your relationship. And this could potentially put you in the position where you have to kind of make a life for yourself all over again. So some of you may be dependent on this other person in this relationship. So separating yourself from this relationship, just for you, you're trying to decide whether or not this is a good option, because you know that if you separate yourself from this relationship, you basically have to take care of yourself. I'm not going to say fully take care of yourself, because I feel like you're not fully dependent on this person, but you definitely have to fill in where they are no longer going to be filling in, financially specifically. So a lot of you may be considering moving. Maybe you're looking into a new house. Maybe that's what's causing like this, concern for finances. Some of you are definitely considering separating, looking for a new house, looking for better money, better opportunities in finances, because a lot of you don't feel like it's worth staying in this relationship anymore. Now, for the ones that are loosely dealing with people or single, I'm going to go with loosely dealing with first. I definitely feel like because that this person isn't giving you what you need in this potential relationship, you're definitely considering just moving on and just focusing on your money. For the ones that are single, I feel like a lot of you are just not willing to focus on dating. Taurus had something similar. You're not really willing to focus on dating at this point, Aries too, but you want to focus on your money. So that's probably why I'm getting career as well. So like for some of my singles, dating is not really your priority right now. You're more so focused on your finances, and you're getting to the point where you have ideas and goals that you want to achieve, and you're ready to implement that and press forward for that. I feel like you feel like relationships will hold you back. But I feel like at the same time, you do want a relationship, and you wish that you can find someone who can kind of bring something to the table. And that way you don't have to give up one for the other. I'm definitely seeing where you feel like that some of you just feel like, oh, I just wish like someone can just come in with their shit together and they can just help me get my shit together. That way I don't have to worry about focusing on money and relationships separately. So I'm kind of getting that as well. So I feel like a lot of you are just trying to manifest financial opportunity, or you're thinking about taking financial opportunities. So whether you're in a relationship or not, I feel like a lot of you are getting ready to move into a situation where you feel like you want to take job opportunities. Maybe you have opportunities that you're considering, but you're in this space where you're trying to still figure out this relationship. So let's say if you're thinking about leaving this person, you could be considering options to where you want to take jobs for the simple fact that you're going to need something as a backup plan when you leave this person. But let's say the job comes through, or they offering you the job, but now you're like, okay, should I take it or not? So I think you're in this space where you're considering taking this job, but at the same time, you're still trying to figure out whether you absolutely want to leave this relationship. Some of it involves travel. Some of you may be traveling, or like I said, just moving physically from this person. Like I said, new home, new city, new something. But you're hesitant because you know it's risky. You'll probably, you know for a fact you're losing something, but you also know that you'll be gaining in another area. So yeah, so that's what I'm seeing. As far as the advice, what I want to say is that before you give up, I think that you should just stop holding back so much. I feel like Virgos tend to hold back how they really feel, or they hold back what they want to express, to the point that you're getting upset and you're getting angry and you're expressing yourself in a way that it's hard to take you very seriously, because to them you're just being angry, or you're tripping over nothing. But for you it's not that. For you is, you're just trying to express yourself. But the problem with that is that it's not going to come out the way that you want it out of anger. You have to come to terms with that it's easier for you to express yourself while you're able to express yourself, and not wait until you're upset to express yourself, or emotional to express yourself, because again, it's not going to be taken seriously, because then it's just going to be seeming like you're just blowing smoke, or you're just nothing's making, it's not going to make sense to them, basically. So just consider that, because I feel like you're constantly going through these cycles where you're doing this often. Like, you're getting into relationships, they're not going the way that you expect them to, because you have your own idea of how this relationship should go. So you're repeating cycles of where you're getting into these relationships thinking a certain way, getting frustrated when they don't go the way that you expect them to, and then you back out, and then you have to start all over again. And so you have to kind of like, you have this building up and tearing down of relationships, or just your life in general, all because you have very high expectations and you're not willing to compromise, or the other person is not willing to compromise it. So like I said, this could be you or someone doing this to you. So either way, I feel like there's a lack of communication, or there's a lack of proper communication, to where there has to be some logic in there with it, where it's a lot of emotion, a lot of energy, a lot of high energy, so a lot of anger, but not a lot of logic, not a lot of thinking, not a lot of realistic expectations. So this is where your relationships tend to struggle. You expect a little too much, but you say a lot less, because I think a part of you know it's a little too much. You know that it can be perceived as being bossy, forceful. Like, I feel like you're forcing the relationship to go a specific way, or a direction that you think it should go. But realistically, this other person has their own expectations of their relationship, as well as their lives. So imagine if someone comes into your life and they want you to be who they expect you to be in this relationship. Like, let's say if you have the view that you want to be a mom, a father, you want to play this certain role in this relationship, but they want you to work nonstop. They want you to make money. They want you to be in the public eye. They want you to be a maid, something like that. For you, you're like, what? I have my own ideas of how I want to live my life. So it's kind of like that. So my point is just be mindful, or be respectful of the differences that you and this person have. And the concept of it all is to just try to find middle ground. Communicate. Actually communicate. to find middle ground. You and this person are not going to be able to always be on the same page. And you have to acknowledge that. So you have to not try to get so frustrated because they're not on the same page as you. It's impossible to be on the same page all of the time. So think first, communicate, then take action. So that's what I have for you, Virgo. Hopefully this helps, and I will see you next time.